What's up, gearheads? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm using this video as kind of like a channel update slash build update video. If you're new to the channel, I'm Ashley Vaughn. I build crazy stuff. No, there's not always a point to it other than I just thought it would be cool. It really doesn't have to make sense to other people. The point of what I'm doing is just because I felt like doing it. And sometimes there's no other point to doing it other than that. Like my E46, I put 6 dirt bike mufflers on and did 6 continuous pipes up to the block. I've gotten a lot of hate for saying straight pipes, so I guess I will not say straight pipes. Whatever. I was just trying to explain it in a concise manner. Also, straight pipe is a viral hashtag and word on TikTok, so it was very useful to use rather than saying 6 continuous pipes or however you want to say it. It's 6 straight pipes, okay? Yeah, I get it. I put dirt bike mufflers on the end, okay? So technically it's not a straight pipe, but it might as well be straight pipe. There's nothing even in the mufflers. Like we took all the sound deadening material out of the mufflers. They're basically just straight open muffler pipes. Whatever, technical stuff. I could care less about terminology. That's a big reason why I am terrible at explaining things. I just don't care about terminology as long as I can kind of conceptually understand it. I'm like, okay, that's how this works. I don't need all the like fancy verbiage, all this fancy language to explain it, but that's doing me a disservice now because now I'm trying to teach you guys and I'm trying to help other people. And it doesn't really work if you can't be like, yeah, you need to take the doohickey and do the thingamabob. People are gonna be like, what the heck, this girl's just an absolute crackhead. So, anyways, channel update, build update. Currently, I'm building 4 vehicles. I am building a 20B 3-rotor FC RX-7. I have the Drift Pig E46 BMW. I am building a LB7 Duramax, and I am also building my 2015 WRX. That project is kind of under wraps right now. I'm not letting people in on a couple of secrets that I have going. They will be hopefully released in the next year. I don't want people stealing my ideas. I worry about that a lot just because I'm doing pretty unique stuff, trying to come up with new creative things to do. So I just panic people are gonna steal my stuff, and maybe that's like a cocky way to look at it, but if you were starting a business and you had some great idea, right, would you just go like screaming it to the world? No. Kind of how I'm viewing it. I wanna get to SEMA. I'm trying to do some unique creative builds that other people I don't think have kind of thought about yet. That's really the whole point, is A, to push my skill set, see where I can progress to, get to SEMA, get into some cool car shows, and just like put myself out there and showcase my skill set and my abilities. I also have my C7 Corvette. I am trying so hard to keep this thing stock right now. It's taking everything in me to not touch this car, but I'm doing a great job. I already took the calipers apart and painted them. I want to get them powder coated down the road, but this was just a quick, easy solution that I was capable of doing myself right now. I'm working on buying an oven at the shop so I can powder coat small stuff like this, do like small batch stuff. Not at that point yet, so I'm doing what I can with what I got. That's the name of the game, right? As you can tell, I'm doing a great job keeping this car stock, but I painted all the badges. I think they came out absolutely awesome. I'm putting out a video on that. Link will be up above. Let's get into all the build updates. I'm gonna go hook my phone up to my tripod because as you can tell, I keep switching arms because this setup, honestly, my arm gets tired. Let's go get to the desk and to my tripod. We're gonna go through all of the builds. First up, I think I'll start with the RX-7 just because that's kind of the order I went in. I'm building a 20B FC RX-7 with rotor piston motorsports down in Hagerstown, Maryland. It's been a big struggle to work with them just because they're so far away. They're like an 8-hour drive away. It takes a lot to coordinate between driving the car down there, getting it back up here. I need to get it fitted for certain things. So They've been great. I have no complaints about the shop, but it's just been a lot for me to coordinate. I'm driving down there pretty often, but that's what I signed up for. I originally contacted them just to buy a 3-rotor. I had been I'd been looking for one for, I don't know, maybe a couple months. I'd always wanted to build a 3-rotor, started looking into the price tag. With my tax returns and my stimulus checks, I was able to purchase one with my savings. Like, I did a lot of saving and finagling to get this done, but I got it done and I got a motor, imported motor from Japan. For those of you that don't know, 3-rotors, usually you can do like an all billet case and housings or whatever you want to call it. You can do all billet casings. I didn't want to go that route because honestly, it's insanely expensive. I also knew that I wanted to turbo the car. For those of you that don't know, typically people will buy a 3-rotor. Yes, there was a car that came with a 3-rotor in it. Most people don't know that. It was called a Mazda Cosmo Enos. I bought a used motor out of an Enos with low miles. It's a D-series engine, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, basically it's a really great starting point to just rip the thing apart, instantly start machining it, and do a rebuild kit on it. And that's what I've done. We're doing a large street port with semi-peripheral ports, and we're putting multiple turbos on it. I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what we're doing, but we are putting a multitude of turbos onto this car. Fitment is going to be difficult. Some people say it's going to be impossible. I don't think it is, but we shall see. I guess like worst case scenario, I can just make the whole front of the car tubular. It's gonna be a drift car anyways. I just got the roll cage installed, went down there a couple weekends ago to prime the whole cage, just make sure there's no surface rust on the cage and throw some primer down, keep the thing protected, because basically the whole inside of the car right now is bare metal. Well, up until I primed it. Car looks really good. It's ready to just do body work at this point. There's a couple things that need to get welded in. They really want to paint the car, but I really don't want them to paint the car. I want the experience to paint the car. It's just a pain because I'm going to have to trailer it back up here, paint it, then trailer it back down there because they need it to mock up different stuff for like the motor and everything else. It's really hard for me to figure out how much I want other people to do just because I know that they have the skill set to do it properly and I do not, but I'm never going to develop those skills if I don't push myself and start doing things outside of my comfort zone and my skill set. So yeah, it's really hard for me to determine like how much I really want them to do, but I'm figuring out slowly, kind of coordinate with them. They know I'm super motivated to do whatever I can to this build. I just don't want too much of it to get taken away from me and then it's like I'm not even building my own car anymore. My goal with this car was not to just hand it off to somebody and have them build it. Bottom line, that's just not me at all. I have been hands-on with all of my cars since day one. I mean, this RX-7 was my first car. I bought it when I was 16. So I've done all the maintenance to my cars. I've slowly just picked up a skill set, worked on stuff, kept working on stuff, wanted to give up at points, but I haven't. And it's just not in me to just hand a car over and say, yeah, this is what I want to do to it. Just do it. It's not why I'm doing this. It's not why I'm getting into this. It's not why I have this YouTube channel. So I don't know. We'll see where I land with it. But for now, roll cage is in. Motor, we are waiting on exhaust sleeves. I think they're in. Machine work's done. Waiting for the motor to go to powder coat. I dropped off powder coat a couple weeks ago. Basically, the motor's at the machine shop on hold as far as I'm concerned. E46. For those of you that are coming over from TikTok, you've probably already seen this car. Car went viral and got 3.5 million views on a single video. Pretty crazy stuff. Did not at all expect for that to happen. I literally was excited because I posted the video. We finally got the exhaust pretty much tacked up to the point where it could pass. You know, we basically built the exhaust from the block, then built the mufflers, stabilized them in the rear, and then built the exhaust and met it in the middle. And we tacked up the middle section enough to turn the car on and kind of hear it at first. So the videos I have of it running do sound very exhaust leaky because it is exhaust leaky. They're literally tacked in the middle where I ended up putting slip clamps on. We were just so excited to hear this thing running that we just tacked it in place and started joyriding it down the street. So yeah, the sound is not great. And on top of that, I have an iPhone recording. So like even in this video, audio is not going to be that great. I actually just got my mic in yesterday. I just haven't hooked it up yet and unboxed it and everything. People ask me all the time, like, why did you do this? What in God's name made you put 6 dirt bike, like who the heck puts 6 dirt bike mufflers on a car, right? I do. That's what I do. We basically came up with the idea at 2 o'clock in the morning at the shop. We work a little bit too much and sometimes work just turns into play, and this is what it looks like, I guess. On top of that, we had just gotten a new welder and I have been learning to weld over the past year, so what better way to get a ton of welding practice than to build 6 straight pipes to the rear of the car. Yes, I know they're not technically straight pipes. I've gotten a ton of hate about that on TikTok because I label it as 6 straight pipes to dirt bike mufflers, okay? I don't know what else you would call it. It's literally 6 straight pipes to the rear of the car. I get there's dirt bike mufflers on them, but they're really not even mufflers. There's no packing or anything to disperse the sound. They're literally, we hollowed them out. So they might as well be part of the straight pipe. It's like adding a tip on the end of the exhaust. Is that therefore not straight piped? I don't know. I don't want to get into all the technicalities of it, but call me crazy, call me stupid. The other comments I get is like, oh, there's so much weight added, right? Really wasn't that much weight added. The spare tire that was in the back of the car added way more weight. Lots of hate on that car. I basically instantly knew the video was going to do well because I just got so much hate. Like the hate just started pouring in on a level that I didn't even know how to process it. I got very upset for a few days because it's overwhelming to have hundreds of people messaging you in a day like, this stupid chick, this is so stupid, why would you do this, da 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 da. Like, guys, it's just a piece of shit car that I bought for $1,000. Like, what does it matter? If I was doing this to like a M3, an E46 M3, fine, 100%. I would understand the hate a little bit more, but the fact that this was like $1,000 crap box that I bought to literally beat the piss out of and not give a shit about, get experience with, like, what the does it matter? It really doesn't matter. And not to mention, like, you're not doing anything by sitting and hating on someone's video. The shit is already done, okay? It already happened. It's on TikTok. It's on YouTube. Like, there's no taking it back. So you can sit there and say, oh, this is so stupid. Whatever. E46, I actually just got sponsored by Max Speeding Rods. I'll put a link. I think they have a YouTube channel up above. They have a TikTok. I'll add a link of theirs up above somewhere. And they will also be in the description box down below. They just sponsored me. Huge shout out to them. They are sending me turbos. I'm pretty sure they came in the other day. So I'm going to be putting those in the trunk next. We're figuring out venting through the rear window and relocating the battery and all that fun jazz. So, great experience though. Again, all these projects are designed to push my limits, right? Like I could just slap some turbos under the hood and that would probably push my skill set a little bit, but we're just gonna put the turbos in the trunk and add hopefully some more dirt bike parts to the car. I'm trying to slap as many dirt bike parts onto this thing as I can. That's what it's turning into. It's gonna be some mayhem. Twin turbos are going on it, have rods coming for it as well from Max Speeding Rods, but the connecting rods are not gonna be here for probably another month or so. I'm still waiting for like a shipping confirmation, stuff like that from them. They told me they were 2 months out. That was about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, if not a little longer. but they'll come in. So I'm gonna have to pull the motor. Probably going to wait to take the headers off until we pull the motor, because it is such a pain to get in there, and I do not have a lift at the shop right now. So it's just gonna be a total pain to get up in there with no lift and jacking the motor up. Like, I'm half torn. I may just pull the motor now and start fabricating from the trunk forward to maybe probably like halfway like I did it last time. I don't know, we'll see. I'm just gonna try and work with like what I got, when I got it, and plan it from there. I'm a little worried about just like absolutely melting my pistons. I feel like my pistons in my heads are what's gonna go next. I'm gonna have to sort of do some sort of like cheap jimmy rigging to the studs. I don't know, we'll see where it goes. I'm gonna try and keep this motor alive as long as possible, but I'm not really worried about blowing it up. So I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of people that are gonna be like, you're just gonna send that engine to the moon. And guess what? I don't really care, okay? Like, motors for these things, I can find them for $500. So worst case scenario, I just take it out and I buy a new motor, or I LS swap it. I can find an LS for $500, and there's a direct bolt up mounting kit. So yeah, I'm just not really too concerned about it. Next build, Duramax. Duramax, I really don't have a ton to talk about other than I need a new frame. So if you know somebody that has a clean Southern frame with no rust or very, very minimal rust, I'm in the market for a frame. If you have seen my earlier YouTube videos or my Facebook posts, I did custom paint the frame that originally came with the truck, but there's just so much rust built up on this thing. I just don't think I'm going to be able to save it. And like, the whole point is to make a show truck. This is gonna be my tow rig for my trailers and bringing my cars around to shows and stuff. So I wanted kind of a show truck. I might go pre-runner with it. Not totally decided yet. I don't know if I can even afford that right now, but that's kind of the end goal. But the frame, we originally painted the mint green color that I use on everything. It's actually a Porsche color. It's a very light color. So any rust that builds up or runs down the frame instantly just shows. And it was driving me nuts having, it literally was to the point where I was like taking like sealer, like caulking parts of the frame because it would just like bleed out and run down the frame. Yeah, I just basically decided I should probably just find a Southern frame if I'm gonna be serious about this. I did find an LBZ cab. I've been looking for probably about a year, if not longer, for a cab with a moonroof. And I found one that is not completely destroyed. Like, it hasn't been run into the back of something or hit a tree or whatever. So my original cab, I actually had, and I have a video, I'll link it above, of doing rocker panels and cab corners. So I get to revamp my rocker panel and cab corner video. I'm gonna be doing a lot more explaining, talking to the camera, because I was not very good at that before. I think getting a lot better at it. And then from there, really just body work. I literally have brand new rustless doors that I have completely prepped. These doors came mint. They had very, very, very minimal dents. So I basically just had to do a light skim coat to them and they're ready for paint. I'm gonna have to weld the cab corners and rocker panels on them, prep the whole cab for paint. I gotta take basically the entire interior out, clean the carpet, make that look new. I'm gonna need to put a new headliner in, which I wanted to do anyways. I have a Cadillac interior to put into it, which is gonna be friggin' sweet. I'm really excited to kind of get this thing together, but for the motor right now, I have that sitting in a machine shop. I have brand new flywheel. I basically am Frankensteining the motor. Yeah, it's not the best way to do things, but I have so many other projects going on that this is the only way that I can afford to build a Duramax. They are insanely expensive to build. Probably the most expensive thing you can build, and I'm building an RX-7. Okay, that says something. Just so you know, very expensive to build. Only way I'm able to kind of build this and be able to push a good amount of horsepower out of it is because I have an LML block with LB7 pistons and LBZ rods. I'm kind of taking pieces of different Duramax motors and mishmashing them together. That's what I just was able to do with the money that I had allotted. That's been sitting at the machine shop since I think like February. They told me 3 months and I absolutely just laughed at them because I knew that wasn't going to be the case. Sure enough, it's September, November now, and yeah, it's still not done. Still haven't gotten a phone call. I actually have to call them because I just haven't heard from them. I hope they didn't lose a bunch of my parts or something. Yeah, I have like ARP studs and the whole 9 yards to build this thing to like maybe 700-800 horsepower if I'm lucky. After that, I would have to invest into like injectors and stuff. If you're gonna push the 1,000 horsepower mark with a Duramax, you're better off getting like a fully built motor. You're better off going with a internally balanced billet crank and getting a special flywheel that goes with an internally balanced crank and doing the whole 9 yards. Like, you might as well drop 60K and just dump it into a fully built motor and be able to make 1,000 horsepower and however many 1,000 million pounds of torque. Okay, I don't have the budget to do that. I hopefully down the line will be, but for now I'm really just looking to make like a show truck that pulls my toys and looks cool at the track. I just wanted something a little bit fun, but isn't going to absolutely slaughter my bank account, and it still is absolutely slaughtering my bank account, so whatever. It's all the name of building, right? My last and final project is my 2015 WRX. If you're new to the channel, you probably haven't seen the video of me blowing up the motor. You should go check it out. It's kind of funny. I literally quit my job, put my 2-week notice in, and my car blew up like 500 feet away from the job site. Like, motor completely just let go, piston skirts completely shattered. Everybody I've talked to says it's actually a natural failure. There's really nothing I did to the car. It was modest tune, modest build. Didn't do anything crazy. I wasn't like racing it the day before or a couple hours earlier driving to work. It literally just let go. I was actually sitting at a red light. I pulled 500 feet down the road from my job site, sitting at a red light, and my oil light came on and this horrible noise came out of the motor spontaneously. Like, it wasn't like I sat there with my oil light on for a while. It instantly, like, oil light, horrible noise coming from the motor. I had to pull out of the middle of the road. So I pulled through the light and off to the side of the road, and I popped the hood, called for a tow, started inspecting the motor, and there was oil leaking from the front of the car. I couldn't really tell where it was coming from. So there was a very rusty turbo line, oil line, that I knew was probably gonna let go. It was very crusty. I was actually shopping around for a new turbo oil line, so I figured maybe that line just let go and it was just leaking oil. When I got everything apart, got the turbo out, I realized that it wasn't the problem, and the oil was actually coming from my front cover out of the crank seal. So yeah, immediately from there, I was like, all right, I got to pull this motor and see what's internally wrong with it. Before we pulled it, I did a compression and a leak down test. Both came out fine. No, compression was fine, no leak down. So rings were fine, no scoring on the cylinders. There's no contact from the piston skirt to the rod. Like, nothing contacted each other. There's no signs of excessive heat. It just was a natural failure. They build these cars to be good with fuel economy, so the skirts are naturally thinned out for better fuel economy. It just let go. So I'm warning you, 2015, the newer ones, I think they got the skirts a little bit better because they are making more horsepower, but I'm warning you, early gen Subaru WRX builders, you may just want to leave that thing stock for now. I was only making like 330 something to the wheels. Really didn't even break. Usually you're really pushing these cars around like 400 horsepower. Didn't even make it to 400. Like, I tried to keep this car considerably moderate in terms of building it because it's my daily driver. I drive this thing every day, but unfortunately my skirts let go at 120K. I had the car built from 60K on. I know that that's kind of, usually people buy these things to just instantly build them, but I had the motor walnut blasted. I took really good care of this car, did fuel additives all the time just to keep the carbon buildup from the direct injectors down. And literally when I had my motor walnut blasted, the guys at 603 were like, are you sure you want to do this? Because the inside of this motor is absolutely spotless. Like, there was really no need for me to even walnut blast it. I just wanted to do it to be preventative. Like, I knew it was going to build up more carbon now that I'm building it, and I figured it would just be a good thing to do to kind of like wipe the slate clean as far as carbon buildup goes. But anyways, yeah, apparently that didn't help. I mean, I really tried hard to keep this car together and not have it blow up, just because when you start building stuff, there's a lot of hate and naysayers. And of course, I instantly got, especially from the older techs at my work, don't touch that thing. You should just keep it stock. It's going to blow up. I mean, it probably would have blown up anyways at 120K. I am seeing a lot of these cars for sale. I've seen a lot of people complaining at 120 to 180K, them letting go. So who knows, maybe even if I didn't build it, it may have just let go on its own, or it may have just taken a little bit longer for it to let go. That's my build lineup for now. I do have other like bike projects and other stuff like that going on that I work on kind of randomly, but as far as vehicles go, that's my lineup. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.